Welcome back, one percenters, man. This is going to be our last and final class of the year. It's been a wonderful year. We started this community in September, so we've done a full quarter of classes, man. 3 months, 90 days worth of classes, and I'm so excited and proud to be able to give this information away to you guys. So we're talking about rollouts again, and there's another thing I wanted to share with you guys about rollouts. So I'm going to get into that, and then we're going to wrap up the year at the end of the video. But let's get into one more thing I want to make sure you guys have to keep you guys prepared. Like, this is a pre-rollout checklist. We always want to be prepared, man. And so let's get prepared with our pre-rollout checklist. What I'm about to show you guys is from the 90-day blueprint. And right now, you guys can get that for 50% off. If you look on the home page of our community, it's 50% off right now. So get as much information as you can before you go into the next year. So this is a clip from that where we talk about our pre-release checklist. Let's get into it right now. So we covered a lot so far, but I just want to recap real quick. What we have so far is our target audience. We have our roadmap, our rollout, so we know what order we're putting out this music and when. We have our branding, our keys to our brand, so we know how we're going to present ourselves in this music. And then lastly, we have our budget. So we pretty much have a full plan. And again, a lot of this we covered in the community already, but some of it we haven't. And then there's so much more information outside of this inside of the 9-day blueprint. So please take advantage of grabbing that 50% off right now. But let's get into this and let's get into this rollout. Now it's about time to gather our assets. And when you hear people say assets, that means, the content that you have ready, music videos, etc. I put together a pre-release checklist, right? Because these are the things that you're gonna have before you start. I'll list them real quick just for the sake of making sure you understand what they are. But they are below. So number one, you're gonna have your smart URL. This is very important because some people may use different platforms when they're listening to your music. So you want to be able to have a direct link to that. So your smart URL will have your Apple, Spotify, YouTube, etc. So make sure. There's a couple that we're using right now. One is called Beacons and one is called Comey. I'll list both of those below. But there are new ones coming out all the time. So I'll always keep you updated on the best smart URL to use. Of course, Linktree exists, but I'll list a few that we use below. You have your smart URL ready to go. It's a free thing. You can literally just Google smart URL. There are a bunch of different ones. Choose whichever one you want. Then you want to have your social media banners, meaning your Facebook banner, your Twitter banner, your YouTube banner. You want to always keep this up to date. And for us, every time that we do a new release, we go through this. So our first single, I might have that first single banner. For our next big focus single, I'll have a new banner for that. So I update that banner often. I do not play about the banners because I want when people come to the page, it to be new and current. Then you're gonna have your IG feed content, your swipe ups. You wanna have all of this ready ahead of time. Also, even when we're talking about Spotify canvases, a lot of times I just take the swipe up and I use that as my Spotify canvas. You wanna have all of these in like a Dropbox so that they're easily accessible. So make sure that you have all these ahead of time in a Dropbox or whatever form that you want to keep them in. But I like to use Dropbox. Yeah, some people use like Google Drive. But nevertheless, what I like to do is I like to have all of my banners, all of my content, all of whether that be feed content or swipe up content that I created specifically, to promote my song. I keep that all in one place in the Dropbox because now everything works off your phone. And so when I'm away from my laptop or away from my computer or my iPad and it's time to post, I won't have to, get somebody to send that to me. I can just literally open my Dropbox app and download my content or download my canvas or download whatever I need to download is always accessible to me on my phone because I keep it in that Dropbox file. And so I love Dropbox. So shout out to them for that. But you want to always be ready. You want to always be prepared. And so all of these assets are always available to me because I have them in that Dropbox file. You also want to have, of course, obviously your artwork, your single artwork, your cover artwork. I still do countdown, so I'll have my people make countdown graphics. So it'll be like 7 days until the album comes out. I even like to make countdown videos where I might use highlights. Like I might go back to my Instagram and find some of the best content I posted over the last few months, and I'll take that content and repurpose it for a countdown.
And to explain that even better in terms of our community will understand, all of our repurposed content or all of our content that we posted over the last 3 months, taking maybe the top 5 pieces of content that have worked really well. And now that I'm counting down to my new single, I'll put one of those pieces of content up, but the copy over will be 5 days into the album. And so that content worked before, it'll work again. But now they know that my album is coming in 5 days, and then 4 days, then 3 days, and 2 days. And so I use my best content to show people my album is coming, because the hardest thing to do is gain awareness. Most time people drop projects and people don't even know it came out. But if I have good content that has worked in the past, I can repurpose it and I can just change the copy on it to let people know that this album is coming or this single is coming. And so that's one of the easier tricks you can do to gain awareness for your project or singles.
Then also YouTube visualizers. Visualizers have become very popular. Basically, what there are sort of one scene videos. So it might be, instead of shooting a full music video, it might just be me riding my bike, sort of singing the lyrics to the song. Like it's just one scene videos. They're very popular because obviously they don't cost a lot of money, easy to edit. You can probably get one done for $200. And so I like to create visualizers to every song on the project, and I'll drop those when I drop the project, or I'll sort of put them out, maybe a new visualizer every week. And then motion graphics, which I'm sure many of you have seen. Motion graphics is simply just the artwork in motion. The same person that does your artwork usually can create the motion graphics. And I like these because I can put the music behind it. So instead of just posting the cover, I'll post the motion graphic with it so they can hear the music and see the cover at the same time. You want to have all this stuff ready before you start. I'm a big planner. You have to plan to succeed. So I have all of these things ready. It's part of your pre-release checklist. So get all these things together before you start. So now we really have our whole plan, right? We know our singles, we know when they're coming out, we know our budgets, we know our marketing, we know everything. The one thing I will say very fast is, in the process of putting this whole plan together, the thing that you want to start with is your brand, because you want to start putting out that content to build up your social media before you go into the music coming out. So from day one of you watching this and you putting together your plan, the first thing to put into action is your brand. Figure out your keys and begin that day making content that matches your brand, because the best thing about social media is you get immediate feedback. And the more content you put out surrounding your brand, you'll start to learn what really works. If you follow me, you see that I post quotes all the time. I don't do that for no reason. I do that because it works tremendously. And so I learned that by trying out different content around my brand. So from day one, start putting out your brand content, because you'll learn over time what really works, and you can build a fan base before you even get into your music. So while you're playing these things out, you get your assets together, start with the brand. Let's go ahead and talk about the last piece of this. I want to show you guys some real life examples of post release.
Okay, perfect. So that list that I showed you there, I'm going to give you guys a PDF of that list. I'll find a way to get it posted on here, and so you'll be able to get access to that list. So don't worry about that. So here's the thing, man. You have to be prepared. This is a business. And so you don't step out the door without being prepared for that business. Usually when you're starting a business, you have a business plan. So start to treat your singles and your releases like actual businesses, like plan for them. And so that whole pre-release checklist, you want to have that ready before you go. You know what I mean? That's very important. You being the top 1% means you're gonna always be prepared. Always be prepared. And so when we talk about rollout, you have to be prepared before you roll that out. Now, here we are, last video of the year. I want you all to go back and re-watch whole this whole mentorship class. Go back and start with community. Go back and start with brand keys. Go back and start with content. Go back and rewatch the community series. Go back and rewatch the brand series. Go back and rewatch the content series. Get the 90-day blueprint. It's 50% off. Get that. And then begin to formulate your plan for next year. Take this time to reflect and learn. And then you start out next year with action, 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 action. Take everything you learned and start with action. You're going to learn more by doing, but you'll be prepared to do it better and smarter and wiser because you've learned about building community, because you learned about how to do content, how to do your brand keys. You've learned all these things, so you're more prepared than anybody else in this industry. I guarantee that. I guarantee you're more prepared than anybody else. But what's going to make you special is the action you take. So please go back and rewatch all of these series, formulate a plan, and then take action. And as you learned last week, when you formulate that plan, put measurable goals with that plan. You need those measurable goals because those reaching those little milestones is going to give you the confidence to keep going. So, as we close out the year, I really appreciate you all. We're going to talk this Thursday for the final time of the year. But as we close out, I want you all to rewatch everything, re listen to the 10 Artist Commandments. Go ahead and get the 90-day blueprint. Get as much information as you can because you are going to go into 2024 with action, 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 action. So I can't wait to see you guys execute everything you learned. I'll talk to you guys Thursday. Thank you all for being a part of the 1%, man. It's an honor. Love you all. Talk Thursday.